Hare. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswamini Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaur Vani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jai Hare Krishna. Hope everyone is doing all right. Well, I can't hear you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Amrish Prabhu, there is a question asked by Kanchan Mataji on the groups. If you can answer that question, Prabhu.
Okay, you want to do that first?
You do, Prabhu.
Is it a question for your class? You give the answer.
Oh. Okay, you answer, Prabhu. Okay. So the question is, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, extremely grateful for your valuable class. Thank you for explaining how important our free will is and how merciful Krishna is and how he is witnessing everything and how merciful and powerful pure devotee that is and Vaishnava are. My question is, how do obtain mercy of pure devotees? Of course, out of their free will, they will be merciful to us. But what is your criteria to receive that kind of mercy? Amish, I want you to answer. It is your class, Prabhu.
You want me to speak on this?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, you take over, Prabhu. Yeah.
It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam that by attending the classes on Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and by rendering service to pure Vaishnava, pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. So, this is the point. We require mercy from Vaishnavas, pure devotee, so that the troubles which are there in our heart, the troubles will go away. That is the only reason why. That is mercy. We become happy. So, that is the question, basically. That this is the answer. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Is this okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Is it okay? You understand the meaning of it?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Could you please elaborate it? I mean, I understood it is just attending classes of Bhagavatam regularly.
And by
I'll try.
rendering service unto pure devotee. All that is troublesome
Yes.
to the heart is almost completely destroyed. Service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is established as an irrevocable fact. When we pray this prayer, Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So this is the translation of that verse. By regular attendance in the classes of Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, if anyone wants to attain the mercy of a pure Vaishnava, pure devotee, then one must follow his instructions. And then that is the best way in which one can serve the Vaishnava. See, and then personal service can be done as we progress, as we grow. This is the point. And it is very easy to say, yes, I'll find this person is a pure devotee, I'm told, so I'll go and serve him. Now that you have to find out whether it's pure or not. One can be cheating also. So that is the reason why your question is very relevant. And we do our level best in making sure that everyone is getting the opportunity to study Srila Prabhupada's books and understand the history of ISKCON, both the things. And then you can find out, and then you can serve wherever you are. Your education is on these two levels that we do. So serving of a Vaishnava, being close, you'll understand over a period of time. But when you serve a Vaishnava is mainly to become happy. You become happy by doing these two things. Studying Srimad Bhagavatam class, that doesn't mean you go and listen to any classes, every classes. People run, I've seen it in India, they just go to any class and they say, oh, I went Bhagavatam class and jumping up and down. That is not how much you learn from there. That is not the way. One has to study himself. We say, yes, before you attend, you must study also and go. So this is all the things that we teach. This point will also come, it will be revealed to you in the near future. Is this okay?
Ji Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
It will be revealing to you. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. As I had promised everyone, I had this question today. And the question is this, that what is the most important sorry, where did I go now? I'm just trying to search out this. When we are in a quest for being human being, what is the thing that is most important when we are looking for happiness? I'll simplify it a bit more. Many of you from different parts of the world, you think about New Zealand. Very nice country. Very beautiful country. I wish I want to go to New Zealand. Krishna, send me to New Zealand. What do I have to do? Doctor, engineer, whatever it is. Right. So I want you to understand what do you think? Let's take a very practical example about New Zealand. What do you think New Zealand is? Please. And it could be very honest. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. No, not that way. What do you perceive? You're living in whichever country you are. Some of you are in India. Most of you are in India. Australia, we got Prachi. She was in New Zealand also, so we can't this thing here. She experienced everything. So yeah, so what do you think? Devanshi is joined. Hare Krishna, Devanshi. Yes, we start with you as usual. Let's start. What do you think happiness to mean to you in New Zealand? Divyanshi said, I can't speak. Oh, you can't speak. Oh, sorry, you're in a different place. I'm room filled with relatives. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for joining us. No worries. Okay, let's start with Kanchan. Kanchan, you had a question, so now you can answer this point. What do you think New Zealand is where happiness is concerned? You want to come to New Zealand? So let's understand why. Unless you say, I don't want to come to New Zealand, that's another point. But if you want to come to New Zealand, then what do you think New Zealand is? What happiness will it give you? Come on.
He's asking if she can type.
She wants to type. I cannot type. A lot of noises. Okay, you type. I'll ask somebody else in the meantime. You can type, no problem. All right, let's come to Suchi. Suchi has a lot of questions, so today you answer my question. Very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol. Yes, please.
Prabhuji, I live in India, Nagpur, so
Yes.
coming to New Zealand or any place would be loving and fascinating for me if there is someone who is like, if I have a good devotee association there, if I can go to temple there, if I can have good people, loving people around me, compassionate. And any place would be fine then, and not New Zealand, but any place would be fine.
So you're happy in India then? You are not having surrounded by loving people and temple and all that?
I'm happy in India also, Prabhuji. I'm happy in
So
any place.
do you want to leave India to come to New Zealand? I'm asking specifically for New Zealand, okay? There's a reason why I'm asking you specifically for New Zealand.
As I said, Prabhuji, if everything is like, if I have good association with me, if I can go to temple, if I can do
but as I said,
nice
you already have it in India, so why do you want to leave? Do you not have good association in India? Temples, loving relationship, family and all that?
I have.
Yes. So then why do
you maybe to explore New Zealand someday, or
that's okay. You can come for it as a tourist. Yeah, tourist you can come. Go to anywhere. But to live, you want to live in New Zealand? You get opportunity to leave India and come to New Zealand, you will do it?
For now, Prabhuji, I'll not come to New Zealand to live. But if in future some arrangement will be made, so I will definitely.
You'll definitely come.
Yeah.
You'll definitely come. Okay. And why will you come? Because you don't answer the question. You're a temple, you're a devotee, you get a good thing. I should already get it here. So why do you want to come to New Zealand in the future also? If this is what you want, you already have it here.
But Prabhuji, New Zealand is much more posh, much more less corrupt than India.
Oh, that's why you want to leave. Okay. This is the answer, no problem. So much more advanced and less corrupt. Yes, New Zealand is the second least corrupt country in the world. Yes, that is correct. It became first also some time ago. Now it's second. Consistently second. Very good. Thank you, Sushi. Mukunda, are you with us, Mukunda ji?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. आप आना चाहेंगे न्यूजीलैंड को भारत छोड़ के?
घूमने आ सकता हूँ, बाकी रहने नहीं आना चाहता।
नहीं आना चाहते इंडिया में, न्यूजीलैंड में? क्यों नहीं आना चाहते आप रहने को?
मतलब जैसे मुझे नेचर के पास रहना बहुत अच्छा लगता है, और बट मैं ये एक्सपीरियंस किया था जब मैं लेह लद्दाख घूमने गया था, तो वहां पे मैं कुछ 15 दिन के लिए था। तो फिर बाद में मुझे लगा यार पहाड़ी तो है, मतलब झरना ही तो बह रहा है, और क्या है ही क्या यहाँ पे। तो कुछ दिन बाद मतलब इट्स लाइक जैसे नहीं है कि जैसे इंडिया में कोई बहुत फेमस प्लेस है, जैसे वो कोई भी जैसे हिमाचल प्रदेश है या जो भी अच्छा प्लेस है ट्रैकिंग, तो 5-7 दिन तक ठीक लगता है, बाकी फिर वो पहाड़ और वो ही लगता है, पेड़ ही तो है, बाकी कुछ तो लगता नहीं, तो इसलिए मुझे उतना पसंद नहीं आता। मुझे लगता है कुछ दिन तक घूम सकते हैं, बाकी इट्स नॉट।
सो इंडिया के पेड़ ठीक लगते हैं आपको?
हाँ, न्यूजीलैंड इज आई थिंक सो इट्स नेक्स्ट टू स्विट्जरलैंड एंड इट्स वेरी एपिक, एंड आई एम मतलब वहां पे नेचर्स बहुत अच्छा है, ये सब अच्छा है, बट ठीक है।
अगर हम आपको आने का वीजा दे दें परमानेंट, नहीं आएंगे आप? मुझे नहीं आना न्यूजीलैंड तुम्हारे। I don't want to. This is what
No,
you
I
said.
would.
You would not want to come to New Zealand, you said, no? So I'm asking you, if you give you visa, come and stay here permanently. Will you not come?
No, I will not come.
Oh, very good. ठीक है, good opinion. Thank you very much, मुकुंदर जी. आप अपने नागपुर में ठीक है.
Yeah.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया. Thank you very much. Yes, Mayuresh, you are from New Zealand. You went back to India. You know? So what will you do if you come back? You got permanent residency. You will come back, Mayuresh. Can you hear us?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Hari Bol Mayuresh. Tell me, would you stay here permanently or not? Not in Mama's place, so you are controlled. You can stay anywhere and become wild, every night wild parties. You want to come or not want to come?
If the situation allows, then I will come, Prabhuji.
You'll come. Good. Thank you very much. The situation allows. You're clever, huh? Like some politicians people are. You also go to politics, man. The situation allows. That means I want to come. But the situation allows. We are clever. कृष्ण रे भजे सेवर चतुर, बहुत क्लेवर है हम, हमारा माइंड बहुत दौड़ता है, तो I know you want to come. Don't play around with words. Okay, thank you very much. Right, so we've got Divyanshi Singh that Hare Krishna, I've heard a lot of places that New Zealand is very beautiful and comparatively lesser problematic country from the topmost reason. But the topmost reason I would come to New Zealand is because of the association. But we're already associating. Here you might like our association. But anyway, thank you, Divyanshi. Kanchan, I would love to visit New Zealand if I would be able to get a chance to see you, Vinashagun. No, we are going to come to India. Don't worry if you want to come with that, devotees. So that's all right. Now, we think New Zealand is very good, which is very good. New Zealand is a country of bread and honey. No, milk and honey, which is correct. Absolutely right. Okay. Now, how many women we have got here? We've got Divyanshi, we've got Kanchan, among the new people here. We've got Suchi, yeah, the three here, okay? And then we've got Mayuresh, we've got Mukunda. Right, is made. What if I tell you, if you come and live in New Zealand, you're women, and if you have children here, there's a good chance you'll be sexually assaulted. You know how many times in India, you're living in India for now, right? You must be 20, 25, whatever years old you are, whatever, no problem. Please, it's a very personal question, but don't take me wrong. I'm just asking you for the sake of argument, okay? Have you all faced sexual assault, rape and all that in India at this age? Till this age, have you personally been assaulted? Sexual assaults and all? I can tell you one thing though. In New Zealand, if you come, your chances of being sexually assaulted is 1 in 3. Women, don't say 1 in 3 men. No. Women, 1 in 3. I'll give you some statistics which is very sobering, okay? This is from official website. sexual abuse statistics of New Zealand. 1 out of 3 girls may be sexually abused before she turns 16 years old. And well-being of 16 years old. Most of this abuse, that is about 90% of this abuse, will be done by someone she knows. And 70% will involve genital contact. Low. And you thought New Zealand is less corrupt. Who was saying less corrupt and very happy? No. You want to see more about women? Continue. And men. 1 in 7 boys may be sexually abused by adulthood. Krishnadas, be careful. You're adult now, so this is, I'm not saying I can share this information. Right? Okay, I'll share it to you. You won't believe me, no? You say I'm joking. You people are very clever, you know. Here it is. Read now. Can someone read, please, for me? Who would like to read? Who said it is very beautiful and all that? Kanchan, you like to read? No. Who would like to read? What, you cannot read it. Suchi, can you read, please? Read. Read from here.
1 out of 3 girls may be sexually abused before she turns 16-year-old. Most of this abuse, 90%, will be done by someone she knows, and 70% will involve genital contact.
Now tell me one thing. The chances of you getting this way is very high in India or New Zealand? Tell me. You are more than 16 years old, correct?
Yes, sir.
We are continuing discussion. Yeah? You are more than 16 years old, right?
Right.
So hopefully you are not experienced this horror. Don't switch it off. Suchi, don't switch off. You're going to talk with me throughout. Okay. So you're going to continue. Yeah? You're going to hopefully, you don't have this by Krishna's mercy, right?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Let's continue further. Continue read now. Second point.
1 in 7 boys may be sexually abused by adulthood.
Do you know any boys, your uncle, auntie, your nephew, neighbor, brother, sisters, cousins who have been sexually abused before they become adulthood in India?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. Continue further.
Approximately 1 in 5 New Zealand women experience a serious sexual assault. For some women, this happens more than once.
Right? So this is serious sexual assault. Meaning what? Rape and all that. 1 in 5. Okay. Right. Continue. And more than once it will happen. Right? Right. Continue.
Young people are statistically at the highest risk of being sexually assaulted. The 16-14-year-old age group,
24.
16 to 24-year-old age group, is 4 times more likely to be sexually assaulted than any other age group.
Wow. Please continue.
More than 23% of women participated in a recent Auckland study reported that they had been sexually abused as children. Most of the abuse has perpetuated by the male family members, with an estimated median age of 30 years. For 50% of
you understand about this? That means more than 23%, means about 1/4 of people, women who participated in the study in Auckland, right? They said that they were sexually abused as children. And those who abused them were male in their family members. And they were the age of around 30 years of age. Continue further, please.
For 50% of the women, the abuse had occurred on multiple occasions. The study also found that victims of childhood sexual abuse are twice as likely as non-victims to experience later personal violence.
This is very important. The study also found that victims of childhood sexual abuse, means all these children, 1 in 3, are twice as likely as non-victims to experience later personal violence. They will always create a situation for facing a violent situation for themselves. They'll attract it. This is how they build and think. Right? I want to continue? Let's continue. Research strongly demonstrates.
Research strongly demonstrates that physical and mental health problems resulting from sexual abuse and rape can be significant. Untreated impact of abuse in childhood can continue to impact on uh, survivors as adults in the form of depression, anxiety, unpaired
The
interpersonal relationships,
relationship, right?
parenting difficult eating difficulty, and or drug and alcohol misuse or to cope with strong feelings.
Right. See? Let's continue.
Long-term effect of sexual abuse on children have been correlated with almost every known mental health disorder and most of society's social problems such as early teenage pregnancy, single parenting, and lifetime low social economic status. Research points to Shall I continue?
Please continue. Please continue.
Research points to a child's home environment as a key factor in recovery. Early intervention of specialist services can make the difference between a family that is able to develop an emotionally safe home environment that both heals and prevent future abuse versus a family that leaves a child isolated and vulnerable in dealing with the uh, aftermath of the abuse.
That means if the family is taking care nicely, they're loving and all that, then they can recover. Most of the time it doesn't happen. Right? Continue now.
Women who seek counseling are better equipped and resourced to heal from their experience and are less likely to suffer from the acute physical and mental health problems. Only out of 10 out of 100 sexual abuse crimes are reported, and 3 of those get to court. Sadly, one of those is likely to get a conviction.
Now this is very important. What I'm saying, only about 10 out of 100 sexual abuse crimes are reported. So 90 go unreported. And we think only in India it happens. People don't report. And only 1 out of these 10 which are reported will get conviction.
Prabhuji, but is there any society left where there is no such type of problem? Like,
You're not understanding the point, Suchi. I'm talking about New Zealand has a population of 5 million. Every society has got this. But see the rate. 1 in 3 women, children. I'll be so scared to grow up my daughter here, man. I'll be petrified doing this. And you want to come to New Zealand? All the best. So what is real happiness? I want to ask you this question. Would you like to live in a place where there is safety for you, in your family, loving family members, care near you?
definitely, Prabhuji, I would live in the place where there is comfort and safety and security for me and my family.
Absolutely right. Now see here, it is the least corrupt country in the world, and India has got so much corruption. About average 88 rapes happen in India per day. Reported. So many are unreported, right? We are very easy to say, yeah, so many things are unreported. India is so bad. Here in New Zealand, they are saying only 10 out of 100 are reported. That means only 10% are reported in New Zealand also. But we have a false notion to think New Zealand is much better, beautiful. We demean where we are staying. I can tell you one thing, it is not very good. And we can pick up when women are assaulted. They can't deal with a certain situation. Very difficult. Here, men also, 1 in 7. So those of you who have got girls, you should be very careful, hands-on. So there's a big lesson to be learned here. Lesson is this, that most of the time, if not all the time, we tend to sort of ignore what we have got, and we look for some phantasmagoria around us. I'll go there and I'll be happy. I'll do that and I'll be happy. Please do not get me wrong. Things have happened in India also. And some of you may have experienced certain situation yourself too. Don't get me wrong. But if you have a loving environment in which to live in, for women and for men, there is no better place than having that safe environment to live in. You may live in poverty, but what is the use of staying in rich palace where multiple times you will be assaulted against your wishes? It's very bad. You're destroyed for life. Totally destroyed for life. Emotional scars and physical scars are very tricky. So I want to now ask you this question. If you want to look for New Zealand, you look for America? Sexual assault cases in USA, women sexual assault. I don't know how much, 33 number of statistics. Let us see. It's coming up clearly. Okay. In USA, in the year 1993, it was 800,000 women. This again reported. 2019, it is about up to 400,000. And then men are also there. And there are so many which are not reported. Do you know how much money New Zealand government spends to empower women and to inform, come and let us know family violence is not acceptable? Billions of dollars. You can pick up the phone and do this, report this. Still, this problem exists. Can you tell me why this problem exists? Now, before that, would you rather live in a place where there is physical and emotional safety, or rather where there is a harm? Tell me, where would you like to stay? Use intelligence. Obviously, want to stay where there is safety. So, does the least corrupt country in the world give you that safety? You can write down your answer if you want to. Where 1 in 100, 10 in 100 are reported only. And there also, amongst 10, only 1% gets convicted. Most of the assault takes place to young women, young girls, when they're helpless, they're dependent upon their adults, and they do it. I have had personally talking to people, and they said they have adopted women, girls, taking them out of this suffering. I remember talking to, he was a good man, oldest man, was my client. He said, I adopted a girl, he said, Adi. I adopted a girl, we had a family. He said she was staying with the family, with a father, mother, uncle, aunts and all. And she was pregnant, raped by 5 women. She doesn't know who's the father. And they all were uncles and father and all those? Just tell me. What does it boil down to? India also it happens, and now it'll be happening more because we are following the Western culture. So, what is the difference between Indian culture, which you are experiencing safety at home, and what they are not experiencing as safety at home in New Zealand? 1 in 3 women. You have got friends, all of you, women, girls have got friends. Do you know amongst your 10 friends, women, any of them have got sexual assaulted till the age of 16? Just if you've got yes, just write down yes. I can understand. Okay, that's fine. How many of you? Out of 10, okay? If it is not, then you say no. If you don't say anything, I'll understand it is no.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, no, I don't have as such friend.
Good. You work in the hospital, so you know, right? People can talk to you. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right, Suchi, do you know? Divyanshi, like to say, or you to write something?
I just wanted to present this. I lived in Delhi my whole life. It's supposed to be the rape capital of the world, right? And I feel like almost every woman I know has seen, experienced, or faced some of the other kind of sexual assault or some misbehavior in public places and things like that. And almost every woman I know, especially in Delhi. I don't know about the rest of the places, but I can say this. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about sexual assault. You must clarify this point. Sexual assault doesn't mean just simply one touching and going away. This is assault meaning in the family.
Yes, not a grievous. Yes, not a grievous one, but it's like small instances are kind of a regular occurrence here. Yeah.
I understand those points. Yeah, that's okay. I understand that. But here we're talking about this assault is not about this person in the public place touching and going away and in the bus and all those things. This is we're talking about is assault in the house, in the home, by people whom they know, they trust. We're talking about the serious things.
Oh, Prabhuji,
Do you know, Suchi?
actually, a girl come to our house. She's not a girl; she's a woman. She comes to our house for some, like for Diwali, some cleaning or helping us for this stuff. Like,
Yes.
and she told us that after she got married, after 3-4 years, she got assaulted by her husband. And
My husband, right?
yes, and she's now dealing with a divorce court case. So
Yeah,
that was actually threatening. Like physical harm sometimes, Prabhuji, goes off after some time. The traces goes off, but the emotional and mental traces that the people actually suffers is actually very difficult to
yes, I understand.
go.
So here, if we're talking about one who's an adult after marriage, husband assaulted, physical assaulting. We're talking about young girls from 0 to 16 years old were sexually assaulted. If you know in 10 of your friends, if you know, let me know.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I say something? Prabhuji, however, there has not been any sort of sexual assault, but they have been touched inappropriately by their cousins.
Yeah.
Inappropriately. Like,
I understand. There also
it's an inappropriate touch.
Yeah. I understand that can also happen. Yeah. So you can say there is an assault, no doubt about it. Yeah. But what we're talking about here is not one touch and going away. This is multiple time. Again, I'm clarifying this. This is New Zealand. One touch and going away may happen so many times. No problem. That is not reported here at all.
That's miserable, Prabhuji.
That's what it is. This is New Zealand. And we're not talking about physical assault on the women. I'm talking about sexual assault for girls. This is a fact.
Prabhuji, I actually worked with certain NGOs in Africa. Like we have certain foundations, and they do perform some good for the people who got sexually assaulted. They
Yeah,
have certain victim centers there, and we visited there, and we came to know such miserable things. Like people, like it is out of our description sometimes that people face such a miserable problem in life. And
yeah, absolutely. It's very, very bad. Any kind of assault, especially for small children, is very, very bad.
like people who, especially girls who are less than 16-year-old, they just don't know what has happened to them,
Absolutely correct.
and then like that becomes out of mind.
Yes, yes. So my point, all I'm telling you is this: that what would you rather have? A place and a country where you are protected in the family. There's no, and these are the people who assaults their own family members in the age of 30, assaulting small children, average age as we discussed, and they are serious sexual assaults. मुकुंदा, ठीक बोला आपने, भारत में ठीक है आप भाई।
यस प्रभु जी।
वहां पर तो मालूम पड़ा तो चीर देंगे उसको, आदमी को, पुलिस बोलेगा, पुलिस वाले से मार दो उसको, छोड़ा नहीं तुम, बराबर है।
यस प्रभु।
Here you can't do it. Here you are both are put in jail. बोला अबे तुम्हारे तो मुझे क्या पूजा करने का इसका? I should worship him if he does something like this. You can't. I remember one case where actually a thief came in New Zealand in the house. So thief, chori. It was raining and he slipped in the premises, and he sued the house owner. That you kept unclean. I slipped. I broken my leg. He sued them for money, and he won. Can you believe this? This was in 2001 or 2002. I couldn't believe it. So many years later on, I went and met a cop. I'm like you people, I'm not like you people. Say here and forget about it. So I met a cop. I went to the police station. I said, tell me one thing. If I find some thief coming in my house and stealing, do you think I should wait and call you and allow him to steal? Or I should beat him up, pick him up? What am I supposed to do? You tell me. Because legally, if I beat him up, you'll put me in jail too, So the cop told me, so the lady said, don't worry, if he's within your size, you can handle, then you can restrain him and beat him up. It's okay. We will understand. But if he's bigger than you, don't do it. He'll beat you up. So this is how foolish it is. How foolish it is. So what I'm trying to say is this, that for our lofty things to be, at least amongst the middle class, even any lower class also, I do not think in India 1 in 3 girls who are infant are sexually assaulted badly by their own family members. Tell me, all the males now. Have you heard? We have got families in India. Have you heard like this? 1 in 3.
Very less.
Yeah. What do you think? Shisham Prabhu, what do you think? Have you heard? Akle ka sakta tumi?
In India, Prabhuji?
Ah.
No, not for males, Prabhuji. No, not at all.
For girls, I'm saying 1 in 3. Have you heard in India 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted?
No, Prabhuji. Not within our. I know people.
Knowing only, yeah.
It's only newspaper I sometimes hear, otherwise no.
Yeah, that's right. Avinash, have you heard like this? Sanjay, have you heard like this? Krishnadas, okay, you are born here. You are nearly here. So, what about you? Have you heard? Are you with us?
No, Prabhuji. No.
Why? Okay, who's that male is here now? Mayuresh, have you heard like this? Mayuresh. 1 in 3 in India. Probably he can't talk. Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. No,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
No. So you tell me one thing.
I've seen it on the news, but
That's right. So you tell me one thing. What is better? to live with this scar throughout your life, or to stay in a place where at least there's safety, at least you can live peacefully, live it happily. Tell me, where would you like to live? Mayuresh, tell me, where would you like to live?
In India, Prabhuji.
Good. Suchi, where would you like to live, Suchi?
Where there is safety, Prabhuji.
Good. Clever. Kanchan, where would you like to live? Beautiful.
Just the
All
same,
that or
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I would love to live where I am safe,
Yes.
in the safe environment. Wherever I'll be, I want safety around me.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
obviously,
Absolutely
safety is
right.
important.
Thank you. Divyanshi, what do you think? You can write down now. Where would you like to live? Safely? You can leave Delhi and come to Mumbai or wherever it is, but where would you like to live? Tell me. Safely? She's typing something. Yeah. So that is all this discussion that we are having right now. I've not asked Mataji also, Please feel free if Mataji want to say something, or senior Matajis. I'm sure the answer is that you like to live where safety is there, Right. So with our New Zealand, if you remove everything, looks very good outside, on the other side. Till the time you are here. So what we have got, okay, it's written something, some news has come. Devanshi, yes, Prabhuji, safety is the most important. Yes, correct. It's obvious answer for everyone. And especially for women, it should be more. Men also the same thing. It should be more. So what I want to do with this, what I did today, wanted to achieve, it may sound very simplistic and very naive, but it is a management maxim which says a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. That means if you've got a bird in hand, you should not think I'll leave this bird away and I'll go behind those birds which may be in the bush. Bush meaning forest, where there is. You don't know what you're going to find. In my Gujarati, we are business people, we say je hatma te petma, je nathi teni wat nahi karwani. That means what is in my hand is in my stomach. Don't talk about things which are not in my hand. You will do this, you will do that. All those things are not needed. They're bogus. Okay, this is also the same thing in making money. It is also the same thing for you to be in life. And this comes only by satisfaction. I have seen when we teach mantra meditation program, at that time, one of the main things that I would tell people is that we live in the future. It will be, I want to change, I want to do this. I said, of course you should change. There's no doubt about it. But do not forget that you are living in the present at the moment. And how the present is, if it is good enough for you, that means there is something which is going on in the past, which is happy or not happy. So if it is good for you, appreciate what you have got and utilize for chanting Hare Krishna. This is a simple message I wanted to bring in today with this exercise. In our concepts of Bhagavad Gita, where we say that physical and emotional safety is primary happiness. And this is very beneficial for our Krishna consciousness. Be satisfied for this. I have met with women who have had this difficulty of being raped as young girls. Believe you me, even at advanced age, you can see how they speak, what they have. Emotionally, they're very insecure. You can pick up. Easily you can pick up. And I'm sure the same thing with men also. Okay? Any kind of abuse should not be tolerated. And if you are in a safe house, safe place, then you must be thankful to Krishna and utilize it for Krishna consciousness. Simple. Hare Krishna. No major philosophy. Is it okay? We finish the discussion now. Any questions anyone has or anything to share, please feel free. Because all this while I was driving the conversation, now I can open up. If you want to say something, please feel free.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Yes, Mukunda.
थैंक यू सो मच प्रभु जी. ये बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट क्लास थी आज की और ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट डिस्कशन था. और मुझे अच्छे से ध्यान है कि मैंने आपसे एक बार क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि प्रभु जी हम इंट्रोवर्ट को कैसे बताएं इसके बारे में. तो वो मेरे मन में भी था कि मेरे ऐसे बहुत सारे फीमेल फ्रेंड्स हैं. इंडिया में आजकल एक फ्रेंड बिट्स बेनिफिट का कल्चर काफी टाइम से चल रहा है. सो उसके कारण मैंने देखा है मेरी कुछ फीमेल फ्रेंड्स है जो कि पहले बहुत ज्यादा अच्छे थे, स्कूल टाइम्स में थे, कॉलेज वक्त में बहुत अच्छे थे, बट ड्यू टू सम रीजंस एंड रिलेशनशिप उनको हुआ नहीं और चीटिंग के कारण वो रिलेशनशिप रहा नहीं. तो अब वो लोग ऐसे है प्रभु जी की मतलब कि अब उनको मैं कैसे बताऊं कि दैट रीड भगवद गीता एंड ऑल सच थिंग्स. तो बिकॉज आई रियली वांट कि यार मुझे ऐसा लगा 2 मिनट के लिए मतलब कि सीरियसली कि ये कितना सीरियस प्रॉब्लम है. अगर कोई ये हमारे घर में अगर कोई ऐसा करता तो हमको कैसा लगता. और उन वुमेन्स को हेल्प करने के लिए कोई है भी नहीं और उसका रियल वे उसका मैंने बहुत सारी चीज सोची थी माइंड में कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, बट मुझे लगता है कि विदाउट कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस तो ये हो ही नहीं सकता पॉसिबल. सो आई थिंक सो कि हम उन्हें कैसे बताए प्रभु जी. और मैं ऐसा लिटरली मतलब मैं जानता हूँ तो बट फिर मुझे डर लगता है उनको अप्रोच करने में कि यार अगर मैं उन्हें ऐसा बता दूंगा कि फिर उन्हें जैसे लोगों को नहीं होता है कि उनका मिर्ची लग जाती है तरीके से कि यार तुमने कैसे बोल दिया, तुम मुझको कैसे जज कर रहे, मैं तो ठीक ही थी उस टाइम पे. तो ऐसा तो मुझे ऐसा था प्रभु जी. दिस इज मच.
Yes, correct, very correct. And this is a very, very, I remember how I knew one of the women who was sexually assaulted, raped. I didn't know. I innocently repeated. I'd heard one when I was in NCC in India. So I'd heard once we had gone to a camp. और उस वक्त वो कैंप में कुछ big monsoon water came, it was not a monsoon time, but big water came flooding. So the commanding officer was a major colonel. He said, if rape is irresistible, then lay back and enjoy. He just said like that. So the young man, I remembered it, and I came to New Zealand, and something was going on, in my office with one woman. I said, well, if rape is irresistible, then lay back and enjoy. And she just froze. He said, no, you cannot enjoy rape. I was raped, she said. And believe me, I could see from beforehand how her behavior was emotionally insecure. And they would make the same mistakes again and again. So it's very hard. It's a very touchy subject. Never touch this. Just if you can, just show them respect. Show them respect is very important. Women like respect. Everyone likes respect, men or women. But especially if you teach them respectfully, they will never forget. See Prabhuji, Mukundji, many times we think that everybody needs to be given big dose of philosophy, immediately. Yes, if there's an opportunity, we must do it. Otherwise, just if we speak 2 words nicely, or even if we don't speak nicely, I've had people whom I have not spoken to, but we just go past. Sometimes we say hello, and we move away, And it happened like this for many years, and they would go back and tell, this person is a very nice person. He is a very good person. Like this, And I said, I have not spoken to this person also. How does he know I'm nice? I just said, Hare Krishna, how are you and all that, And they would see me chanting or whatever it is. They would see me chanting, and a person would come and he cried in front of me, man, this woman. And I could see she was multiple abuse woman, completely damaged goods. I just chanted, just Hare, how are you? Good, and walking away. And I wanted to stay away because these are all, but would just be, compassionate, respectful. And that's it, Prabhuji. So सभी लोगों को Bhagavad Gita में Krishna says that there are levels in which people can grow. So just see, be kind, and move on. Don't bring this point. Give some prasadam first to begin with. If you really know somebody, you get them sweets, and cook some sweets yourself, offer to Krishna and give some prasadam. Nicely. Over a period of time, then make them chant Hare Krishna. And that's it. Don't worry about it. And I remember, people cannot chant Hare Krishna. This woman, one of these women who I said chant Hare Krishna, she started to chant Hare Krishna and said, I can't chant, I keep crying, she said. Here in New Zealand, local woman. She just cried and cried. She just couldn't chant. Whenever I chant, I cry. I said, why? He said, I just don't know. That's how it is. So, compassion is also very important. It comes in different forms. One of the forms is this, that let them be. Be nice to them. Is it okay, Mukunda?
वेरी थैंक यू प्रभु जी. मतलब मुझे वो सब्जेक्ट को टच नहीं करना है. जैसे आपने कहा, हमेशा बड़ी बड़ी और फिलोसॉफी देने की जरूरत नहीं है. सिर्फ 2 वर्ड उन्हें अच्छे से हरे कृष्णा बोल दो, और हो सके तो प्रसाद दो, और बस धीरे, और फिर देखो अगर उनका क्या इंक्लिनेशन है. अगर वो है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो नहीं है.
बिल्कुल, वो आपके पास आएंगे, आपके पास आएंगे. डोंट वरी अबाउट इट.
ओके. मैंने एक चीज ये था कि जैसे मैंने ये भी देखा प्रभु जी की मैंने मतलब मेरे आसपास ये बहुत ज्यादा कल्चर है, बिकॉज हम लोग बिजनेस में हैं, तो ये वहां पे बहुत ज्यादा है. क्योंकि मेरे जितने भी फ्रेंड्स हैं सब अमीर बाप की बिगड़ी औलाद, और मैं भी उनमें से ही एक था कि सब अमीर बाप की बिगड़ी औलाद है. तो यही सब कल्चर है, और ये इतना ज्यादा हैवी हो चुका है कि मतलब नाउ ये बहुत खतरनाक लेवल पे जा चुका है. यहाँ पे मैंने देख रहा हूँ कि मतलब इवन नागपुर, छिंदवाड़ा, ये सब भी इनसे ऐसा नहीं है कि अछूत रहे, सब जगह ये हो चुका है. तो प्रभु जी, फिर वो मैंने देखा है कि वो कॉल उठाना भी बंद कर दिए. मतलब ऐसी वुमेन से कि मेरे पहले फ्रेंड्स हुआ करते थे, फिर अब उन्हें इतना ज्यादा वो लोग शर्म आता है कि वो लोग कॉल भी नहीं उठाते. कि मैं कभी उन्हें कॉल करता हूँ कि यार चलो एटलीस्ट कि दिवाली का मैं बोल दे राम राम कर देते, तो भी नहीं. मतलब फिर इतना डिफिकल्ट हो गया है उनको बताना.
See, because they are not assaulted when they were innocent. You see, they were used when they were grown up.
Yeah, correct, absolutely correct.
Now, here we're talking about in the Western world, they're innocent when assaulted. Here, when they are grown up, they've been lured for money and for whatever it is, I'll marry you, and they're having sex, and then finished, gone, used and gone away. This is where the problem is. So that's where your case is different. यहाँ पर तो बच्चे लोगों को जो जानते नहीं है उसे assault करते हैं बच्चे लोग. Very poor. So just stay with them, whoever level are. Everything is very bad. Just give them space. They don't talk to you, don't let them not talk to you. Give them space.
Okay.
Respect. ऐसे लोगों को respect बहुत जरूरी होता है प्रभु जी. And respect does not only mean to, as I said, to speak and give them respect. Even if you give them space, is respect.
Oh, okay.
We don't know this, no? We don't understand.
No, seriously, bro.
Yeah. So everybody asking them, you just don't ask, but you smile when you meet them. Smile, and leave it at that. You send them happy birthday or whatever, happy Ram Ram and whatever you want to do it. You send it. They don't respond, no problem. But they'll remember. This person just sends me all the time. He's a true friend. So just leave it at that, because they are ashamed. And grown up, they made wrong choices.
Seriously, yes, correct, Guruji. Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. Anyone else like to say anything, please?
Ji Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare
I want to ask this question that what inclines a person to take that step? What is the root cause? Is that a lusty tendency, Prabhuji?
A person to take what step?
A step like assaulting a woman or...
No, see, woman is one thing, but even girls, we're talking about
Girl, yeah.
for small children.
Anybody. Assaulting or exploiting anybody. A woman, a girl. Or even you have said a man is assaulted in the news.
Yeah, boys are same thing. The thing is this, that A, there is no culture. 2, there is no family traditions. Now, third, maximum boys who are assaulted in the world. Who assaults them, do you know? Anyone, please? The church priests. Sorry to say.
I was knowing that.
Right. So I cannot say religious people. So religious people also same thing. People should be religious, But religion without culture is useless. That's why our parampara, from our forefathers, what we learn is very important. We minimize it living in India. Oh, my father did, my grandfather did, so what? I tell you one thing, you come to New Zealand or come to America, you remember your forefather. You don't believe me? I'll ask a question here. Sanjeev Prabhu, tell me one thing. Do you remember your father and forefather's instructions now more than before when you were in India?
Now, Prabhuji, because there we didn't realize. Here, when we're facing situations, and we remember and what my grandfather used to say and how he used to make me to face a situation and nicely preparing me.
Yeah.
But that time I was wishing that, oh, this is old man just talking. Yeah.
Good. That's right. Absolutely correct. Thank you. Shita Prabhu, tell me, do you remember your grandfather and father more now than when you were in India?
Yes, Prabhuji, even in India, I struggled quite a lot when I was a child. But actually, my grandfather's instruction, he's not educated at all, but he was very cultured.
Yes.
And the instruction actually he gave me, that helped me come out of that. Actually, I was very introvert, very closed. And actually that helped me quite a lot. And actually when I experience that, following those instructions, I come out of that, it makes your belief very strong. And especially at the university stage, Prabhuji, because we're talking on the subject matter, because the assaulting and all that, association play a big role. Because even if you're from a good cultured family or anything, but if you are actually with the friend circle, who's actually involved in abusing, the girls and all that, there is always a peer pressure to fit in. Yeah, but means I was in different friend circle, but because my family was very cultured, I kept myself away from all those stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. But that's what triggers, somebody asked that question, because sometimes even good people, because they're associating with the wrong people, so they commit such acts.
So it's not an excuse.
Yeah, no, it's not an excuse.
Everyone has a choice.
Yes. Yeah,
culture will save you. Your culture and your training will save you.
Yeah. Even now, Prabhuji, because we are actually associating with you, all the Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. Because we are actually try to walk this straight line. Otherwise, we would be doing the same thing what other New Zealanders are doing, actually.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So this is every Indian, especially every Hindu person who's got Vedic background, they can trace their generations further. You know how significant it is? Gotra. You know what is Gotra? Mukunda, you know your Gotra, Mukunda?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Very good. Do you know what is the meaning of Gotra?
I don't know, but Kashyap is there.
Now I'll tell you one thing. Gotra meaning that your forefathers.
Okay.
You have got the genes of these people. Bloodline. It's called bloodline. You got the blood of these progenitors.
Oh.
So how significant it is, tell me.
Very significant.
And what is your Gotra name? Who's your Gotra?
Kashyap.
Kashyap Muni. So Kashyap Muni is both. He is a main progenitor for Danos and Dema and Deva also. Kashyap Muni. See? So remember this. People forget about it. And tell this to everybody. Every person who's following Sanatana Dharma will know his Gotra. This is the point. Now, Gotra ke saath, what I'm trying to aim is that the culture flows from the seniors down. Avinash Prabhu, what do you think?
Yeah. When you were asking the question to Silva, I was thinking jumping to this. Means I miss India more here than I used to miss India when I was there.
Same thing with me.
And I'm connected to Indians more than I'm connected to friends here now. Situations like this.
Maharaj wanted us to preach to Indians, in India.
Yes.
Very good. Hare Krishna. Preaching everyone, but still. But this is where the grandfather, father, uncles, everything in the Vedic culture, they all are supporting. If you do something wrong, everybody will ask you a question, man. So do not minimize this. Do not minimize this. Are you listening, Pradhan Gopika Mataji? You're with us?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes. You want to say something? You are newlywed. You're newlywed now. So you're no longer a teenager. Otherwise, I would ask you the question as a teenager. But it's about teens now.
Yes, Prabhuji. I think, yeah, I was a child both in New Zealand and in India. I think in India, though, just it's very hard. Nobody reports it. Nobody talks about it, especially as a child.
Yes.
You have no idea what's happening. You don't know, and because you're not as well educated as, say, you are in New Zealand. In New Zealand, it's very straightforward. You know, they talk about these things in school. They teach you, you know, all this information.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what is the case in India because I was not there during that age, but
They don't talk about it. You're right.
yeah. So I don't fully agree that New Zealand is any worse or like much worse than India. I think India is quite bad, sorry to say, and we can't actually disregard the situation about publicly being assaulted and things like that. Like that is also, you know, assault. That is also makes women feel very unsafe wherever they go. So I mean, yes, Prabhuji, your message around safety and happiness is absolutely right. But I think, and it's not just for women. In fact, I think, you know, for boys, for men, it's not just sexual assault. There's so many different types of assault. There's so many different types of miseries.
We focus only upon sexual assault, and we focus upon more aggressive kind of assault, and we focus upon from the young age from 0 to 16 for girls and boys for, you know, what else with it. And we focus upon that. Even with all this, New Zealand has got so much openness. 10 cases from 100 are reported only. So we have to be very careful everywhere.
Yes.
This. Of course, India will be unreported. That's why, because of that, I put a case study asking everybody in your 10 friend circles, has anybody faced this situation? You know, as girls. That's why I asked among Indians that way. Because in New Zealand, we know 1 in 3 is assaulted. It's there in the as per the documents, you know, statistics. So, and this is going to happen. Women cannot be, men also, don't get me wrong, but women especially, you cannot be. We have to be very careful. That's why it's called Janani. They need protection. Yes. Very good.
Prabhuji, in regards to what Sheetal Prabhuji told us, that maybe a person is not well educated, and that I have seen when I have worked with some NGOs, that few girls told me that they were the person who assaulted them was well educated and maybe were reading certain religious books also. Very sorry to say that, but they were reading, but they were not maybe reading and not understanding. That is the main point.
Yes, absolutely right. Reading religious books, being religious is not a criteria for a person. He is not going to assault you, sexual assault.
Yes, and that also becomes very sorry but shameful on the part of a person that education but not educated, illiterate person.
We are misunderstanding. It is our fault that we misunderstand culture to education. That's why I say culture comes from traditions, father, grandfather, etc. You culture, and that's why I talked about Gotra, where we're talking about infinite number of years or line is there.
Yes,
so education is material education. 1 + 1 is equal to 2. How will it give you morality? Tell me. How can people say that educated person, chartered accountant or engineer or marketing consultant or whoever it is not a morally should be morally responsible? Good. How can you say that? They don't teach you morality. Even spiritually, they teach you morality. Still, they do the same thing. That's why I don't touch these young girls. I want to play with this. You know, they are daughters of the program. You know, so in ISKCON they do the same thing. Guru's doing it for small girls. So I don't touch. I want to play with them. I don't play with them, man. My Guru Maharaj did not do it. He would go like this, 90-year-old man, when a small girl would come to pay down respect, and especially young girls. No, small girls is okay, but young girls, so like this, don't. It taught me to say like this. I also do the same thing. Stay away. Thank you very much. For everyone's safety. I remember one case. I must tell you this and finish this discussion, okay? I used to do mantra meditation program for non-Indians for a long, long time. So one day, I met Maharaj in India. I was a yearly trip. I said, Guru Maharaj. So Maharaj said, yes. How's it going? I said, Ambarish. I said, very nice, Maharaj. I want to say something, Maharaj. I said, yes. This was, I think, on the phone or personally, I said. Either of the two. I think personally, I said. I said, Maharaj, in this program, I've got a lot of women coming, in the program. So yes. I said, I'm the only man many times on the program. I said, yes. So I said, I make sure that I tell them, keep the door open, main door is open, and I keep distance from them, and I'm keeping away, etc. So they all are there. Many women are there. Even sometimes one single woman is there in the program, and chanting mantra, meditation, and all those things, So I said, I tell them for their safety, you must stay different. And if you want to go, you go. You don't have to stay here. You're only a single person, so we can cancel the program. I don't mind, We keep the door open. So for their safety, I said this, So Maharaj heard me. And Maharaj said, yes, you do this for your safety. Not their safety. Maharaj said, Of course,
that is a sign of a gentleman, isn't it?
Meaning what? That you can be tempted also. That is what Maharaj is saying. That don't think you'll not be tempted. As a guru, he told me this point. Don't be so puffed up to say, for their safety, I'm opening the door. I said, no, for your safety, Rascal, you may be tempted. That's correct. But Maharaj did not say so many words. Maharaj just said, for your safety, but I could understand what Maharaj meant. You see? So these things, no matter how well, it's very hard to control. So please, the moral of the story, what we discussed today, is this, that what we have, we must learn to appreciate, and we must make the most of what we have to live in the present. And to live in the present with Krishna, whatever future destiny will bring us, we'll go there. You go to America, you go to China, you go to wherever you want to go, Timbuktu, but carry your culture with you. This culture is what comes from your traditions, from your family members, forefathers, what they have learned. And never forget the instructions of your forefathers. If they are good enough, sometimes the forefather says, go and rob the bank. Their forefathers like this. So don't do that. But as long as the good things are there, and always you can fall back upon those instructions. And spiritually, read Srila Prabhupada's books. That's why I said that how do you serve pure devotees? I said reading this book, Srimad Bhāgavatam Sevaya. Study Srimad Bhāgavatam daily, and then serve a pure devotee. You are safe there, with it. So we may not study Bhāgavatam, we may not come to the level of Bhāgavatam, but any book, small books of Prabhupada, Sons of Self-Realization, starting from there, and then Nectar of Instruction, all that. This will all save us. It will all lift us nicely. That is the purpose of our discussion today. Okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I please ask you something?
Yes, please.
If you could allow, may I please ask or maybe request Krishnadas Prabhuji to give his input, as you have once told that he has done studying in psychology. So I want to know his inputs in this. I mean, he's the one who has studied all this. Apart from what you have told, extremely grateful for that. It's valuable too. But I really want to hear from him. I'm quite curious to know his inputs. Could you please allow me to ask him?
Please. Yes. Yes, Krishnadas, would you like to answer?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So just to clarify, what exactly do you want me to answer?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. I would like to ask you what is the psychology behind all the sexual abuser, and what can be done for those who have been sexually assaulted, apart from what Amrish Prabhuji has told, apart from showing them respect and giving them space. But how can we help if we have somebody known, like just say if a friend of mine has gone through that phase, how can I help her psychologically? Like how can I, as a friend, how can I guide her? Could you please explain that?
Thank you, Mataji, for the question. I'm a bit unqualified to answer, though it has definitely been addressed in psychology. From what I've understood, first of all, what inclines people towards assault, it's very hard for anyone to give a reason why someone assaults another person. There's all sorts of answers. We talk about background, someone's the way they've been brought up. As my father mentioned, culture as well. But ultimately, what leads someone to do that is very hard to explain, and something that it's very it's not something we can really put into words. It's abominable, really. In terms of how we go about if we know someone that's been assaulted, from what I've been taught in psychology, it's very important to get help. And we know that in India, if you're living, in a family or extended family, it's very good to talk. You have that support structure to talk to people that support you, and they'll have your back in that sense. Here in the Western world, what they talk about is that you go and see a therapist, and if you have been assaulted or you're facing trauma in that sense, then you see a therapist, and then they work with you. You go through rehab. It's something called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from severe assaults, etc. So there are systems in place here by which there are weeks of rehabilitation. For us, we have been taught in psychology, we have been taught to direct them towards help, because it's really what we've been taught is you go and seek professional help. And for us, it's also very difficult sometimes for people to understand, as we've been talking about. It's very difficult for people to understand that they've been assaulted as well. So in that situation, what do we do? So really, as we have been talking about here, that at least from our side, that we should always be respectful, and we should not condone any such behavior. And if something happens like that, then we should take it very seriously. And if you personally want to help the person through it, then that is also very nice. But if you wish to seek other assistance from professional people, then that is also very important, because the worst thing that can be done is to not take it seriously. So that is what we have been taught in psychology. If that answers your question, Mataji, as I said, I'm not very qualified to answer it because I haven't studied it in extensive detail, but it has come a few times in what we've been studying. So I hope that in some way answers your question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much. So what I'll do is, if I feel the pain is too much, I mean, it's unbearable at certain level, I'll ask her to seek professional help. And yes, you are right. That's what we can do, because we are not expert in that field. So things can get controlled professionally. Thank you so much for your inputs. Thank you for answering my question. I appreciate that a lot. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I say something? Sorry. Actually, I've also studying psychology, but I feel that the people who know what is going through, what they are going through, they can immediately go to a psychologist and then consult their problem, right? But the young children, like Amrish Prabhuji told us, they can barely understand what is happening with them, and for that particularly reason, the question is, how can they be like secured, and they in that vulnerable state when they don't know what has happened to them. um, what what would be the solution for those little naive children, girls, or maybe boy? So that would be something a person should look for on, I think so. Prabhuji, please, can you elaborate? Amrish Prabhuji.
This is very good. Thank you. It's a very clever question, Suchi. Very good. Now, what we read in that, there is a point. This is answered in that point. Okay, I'll share that particular view also, and we'll read that one to answer this question. This is where it is. It says research points to a child's home environment as a key factor in recovery. Means those who are assaulted. Yeah. Early intervention of specialist services that we talk about, okay, if in case services, can make a difference between a family that is able to develop an emotional safety home environment that both heals and prevents future abuse versus a family that leaves the child isolated and vulnerable in dealing with the aftermath of the abuse. So here, family environment is very important, and with professional help. A small child would always be more open to the parents, mother and the father, you know.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
yes, so
And
they are
Prabhuji,
yes.
sorry.
Yes, please continue.
And Prabhuji, but in India, like what one Mataji told is, sometimes the situation is so that the small child is not so comfortable to say all these things that this particular person has faced to her mother and father, or his mother and father. And so the role of the parents is so vital that the parent should give them a, a space to grow, a space to uh, have a compassionful discussion with them. So being strict is good and being disciplined is good, but also a parent should I'm not saying that it should be done. I'm asking that it should be done. Like a parent should give a vent to a child to feel free, to have a compassionate discussion. And when a person is asking or seeking, and so the person goes to a friend or peer group, and then the things totally turns up downward.
You are right. You are absolutely correct. There is no
So
middle parents. You are right. They should be like this. You are correct.
it would be like this, Prabhuji, because I feel that when we went to certain kind of place and we talk to them, but what is lacking is the compassion. What was lacking is the understanding that this thing actually happens and it's okay that you have faced that, but it is not the end of the life.
That's right.
And then spirituality begins, and then we can preach the person that, yeah, now you go for a spiritual practice, or then you have the life again. You can make a new beginning of your life, but that compassion is lacking. And I feel that parents have the first duty to uh, give the child that compassionful bond, where the person can feel free.
You are absolutely correct. That is absolutely right. The first duty of the parent is to make sure that a child is protected, you know, and any situation is a good situation to talk to the parents first. If they cannot talk to the child, a child cannot talk, then there's a problem, you know. You
Yes.
are absolutely right. With a small child, what will they know? They can't even express their own self. So the parents will find out from the way they are behaving, the change in the behavior, their eating habits or sleeping habits, you know, communication habits would change. These are the parents will keep an eye. Every parent keeps a very close eye on the child, if anything happens. Even you may have been given protection like this or father. I was given, I give, So every parents do this way. So you are absolutely right. Parents have got a very important role as a primary caregiver of doing this, And that is what India has got. And if wherever you are, if you have it, then that is the best point to start your devotional service. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush, outside 10 in the bush. Very wonderful. Hare Krishna. Yes, anyone want to say anything? Although we have a long discussion, we have multiple points we discussed repeatedly also. I'm happy if someone wants to say something, please feel free.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Just wanted to add one more point, I guess, from what Shuchi Mataji said. I think also it's important to educate our children, like from a very early age, that if someone is doing this to you, this is wrong. So they should know what is right, what is wrong. So parents actually have to, unfortunately, be quite, upfront and say, someone touching you like this, someone doing this, no, you tell me immediately. So we need to educate so that we can raise that immediately. Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely right. So as the parents take care, they should be educating the children what is good touch and what is not good touch. I mean, that's what they teach in the school, isn't it? I remember when I was in the board, chairman of the school, what was taught, good touch and bad touch for the small children. And what is right, what is wrong? Is it right?
Yes, Roji. Yeah. And actually, in India, along with that, in India, they also teach girls to, act in a certain way to protect themselves in situations. So in my school, we, were taught how to sort of behave, how to sit down, how to, walk and things like that, just to protect ourselves from predators.
Wow.
So yeah.
It was in India?
Yes, yes.
So it would have been 20 years ago, plus.
Yes, 20 years ago.
Oh, that's very good. Good school you were in, man. Avinash Prabhu?
Yeah, thanks to my parents.
Nice. Nice. Very nice. I remember when we were, as we discussed, more things come about for these points, So I remember when I was the chairman of the board, in this Hare Krishna school, So at the time I was meet principal regularly, apart from the board meeting, I had to go every time. So he said, what do we do? The principal was telling me, this Ministry of Education is forcing us to have sex education to children, They're small kids. We were discussing 6, 7, 8, 10 years old kids, to talk about sex education. So we agreed both. Most of them don't even know what is wrong, what is sex education, what is sex and all that. By showing them, they will know that this is wrong. So, So even that is very clear, very, very tricky at times, because here it is very strong in New Zealand, and I'm sure in other countries also, Western countries, that what sex education and all teaching them. But many times this goes wrong way. They teach you what not to do by showing them what to do, So we said, okay, we'll keep an option open for the parents to allow or not to allow, And ultimately, I think it did not happen for this reason. Because they were two small kids, very small children, But I was very, very clear. I remember one point happened where one of the school teacher, for some reason, and he would, and a bus driver, all those things, So we took serious exception. You cannot touch, full stop. No, but I was doing this. I said, no, you can do this, that. No, man. You can't do this. It is not possible. It is not allowed. So schools are very good in this point also. And our parampara, especially those with the Vedic culture, we have got our lineage through our parents, grandparents, our Shastras, especially Srimad Bhāgavatam. If we study this nicely, Srimad Bhāgavatam, this will help us a great deal. I'm telling you, this will help us a great deal. And most of the time, I've noticed this, all the stories that we had learned as small children, they're all in the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam stories. Now we understand, meet deeper with philosophy. Right. So wonderful. We had a great discussion today. I'm sure we learned many things. We took out many things. We took out about our own safety. We spoke about safety of others also. We spoke about how to deal with others also. We spoke about primary caregivers' importance. We spoke about professional importance. We spoke about what is good, what is not good, and most importantly, we spoke about what we have in hand. We think that it is phantasmagoria, as Srila Prabhupada would say, that something is good over there, very nice. It may not be necessarily good. You may be living in a very beautiful paradise, but if you're sexually assaulted rather than living in a hut where loving atmosphere is there, you'll miss that. And we have got people who came and told us to say, "How nice, man! You got arranged marriage." He said, "I would be very happy if I got my parents arranging my marriage for me." This is what people would tell me. And we say arranged marriage is very bad. Sorry, I did love marriage, so I cannot say much about it. But arranged marriage is good to a great extent. But again, that is another topic altogether. Woman has a choice altogether whom to choose from, and men also. But we discussed about all these aspects, and we spoke about how we can bring this in our Krishna conscious life. What is bird in hand is worth 10 in bush, and this is very important in our life. Satisfaction is part of being satisfied. Okay, wonderful. So I'll wait for 10 more seconds unless anyone wants to say anything. Otherwise, we'll finish the discussion now. Please feel free. Don't worry. You want to say something? Please say.
Shall I say?
Please, Mukunda. I said I don't say just for sake of it. I'm encouraging. Please say. Tell me. Tell us.
प्रभु जी, आपने कहा कि जैसे कई बार मैंने ऐसा नोटिस किया है कि कहीं ना कहीं मतलब बुरा तो मैं भी था, बट अब मुझे कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में आने के बाद बहुत शर्म आती है प्रभु जी इस बारे में। जब मैं सोचता हूँ कि यार ऐसा था मतलब मैं भी इस तरीके की चीजें ही सोचता था कि मतलब चाहे वो मतलब आई एम रियली सीरियसली प्रभु जी, मेरे को मतलब अपने आप को 2 मिनट मतलब भगवान के सामने देख के मुझे ऐसा देख भी नहीं पाता हूँ मैं भगवान को कि यार ये जीवन से मैं आया हूँ, तो कैसे प्रभु जी मैं अब आगे बढ़ूं? मुझे बहुत दिक्कत होती है और मैं हमेशा इसको छुपाता हूँ अपने अंदर कि यार ये किसी को बता ना दूं तो कोई मेरे को भगा वगा दे, और मैंने कभी फैमिली से भी शेयर नहीं कर पाया। सो बट हाउ आई डील विद दिस?
How I deal with the shame of our past experiences. How do I answer this question? Because there are some Vaishnava etiquettes. Everyone is born a rascal and fool and animal. That's why we have to go to school. Yeah, whichever school, family school, where they teach culture and all that. That is why. Now, also with it, uske saath, we should also understand that we are born like this, but now we have changed. Always better to go and say, Krishna, I'm very sorry, if you've done something wrong like this. And if you repent and if you are sincere enough, pure enough, then all this will not become impediment for long. Although it becomes impediment, unless you call yourself a big guru and you do these things. There's a case going on at the moment in ISKCON with big gurus at the moment with this. I'll not name them, I'll not dwell more, but this is the case. You can remain a humble devotee and not become Professor yourself to be a big guru, and have your background of this situation. Please don't. You can always change. Change is allowed by Krishna as long as we have not made someone's lives a hell. If you have made someone's life a hell, like made somebody pregnant and kicked her out and all those things, then you must go and repent, I'm very sorry for these things. Not that we should not. So, if you can apologize to the person, please do so. If it's practical enough. If you think they're going to kill you, if you go in front of them, then go and pray to Krishna, I'm very sorry, and satisfy a little bit later on. But main thing is that Krishna will always give you the chance if you are sincere enough in your apology. Okay? Before I come to the part B of the answer, I wanted to understand whether I've answered your part 1 here. Is this okay, Mukunda?
Yes, yes.
Right. Part B is this, that many times it is said for devotees, not new, but who are advanced devotees, so don't dwell in their past. उसने गलत किया होगा पर अभी डिवोटी है तो focus on the devotee. Like for example, शास्त्र में there is a reference of even Valmiki. Valmiki was an eater, man, a sweet man. It kill man, eat man. So you are not doing that, right? Then there is Bilwa Mogal Thakur, one of the biggest authority. He could not resist women. I'll tell you about the story of Pasama Bilwa Mogal Thakur later on. But ultimately, he realized after all this, so many things, he had sexual relation with prostitute, left his wife, so many things was going on. And even after leaving that, even when he went to forest, he still went behind a girl. And then ultimately he took a pinprick and said, now give me a pin. The girl came and said, what do you want? And he felt ashamed. I'm still not learned, man. I've given up my family, given up the whole world, gone to the forest, and still I'm doing this. He said, give me your safety pin. And then he said, I'll pierce my eyes. He picked up his eyes and destroyed his eyes. He said, now I will not see any woman, nothing. Now I'm dependent upon Krishna. Krishna, take me wherever I want to go. And he became a big devotee. So, opportunity is there with Krishna gives. Is it okay, Mukunda?
Yes, Prabhu.
But हमने कुछ खराब कर दिया है, so better you go and ask for forgiveness. It's also important to ask for forgiveness. If you've done very,
Definitely.
very wrong, I don't want to know what you did, but I'm just letting you know. If there's nothing very big wrong, then just continue. आदत थी तो वो आदत change हो जाएगी उस पर, you know.
Yes, definitely.
But बच्चों के साथ किया है तो बहुत घृणा की बात है. Adult who have taken decisions, that's a different situation. But small
Correct.
children who are dependent तो बहुत घृणा की बात है. ठीक है ना? So
Correct,
that,
Prabhu.
तो वो नहीं है तो वो ठीक है, उसमें you can, people who are adult, they can take their choices, you know.
Yes.
But still, wrong is wrong and right is right.
Correct,
You're
Prabhu.
100% right. Pray to Krishna, he'll help you.
Definitely, Prabhu.
Jai, Jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, anyone else want to say anything? I'll wait for 10 more seconds. It always adds up, no problem. This is a topic which you want to ask and speak, no problem.
Prabhuji, I want to ask the question to Suchi and Kanchana, both. And
Okay.
Suchi actually just started to speak something. Suchi, my daughter just told me about the education, and of course, as a father, we were very protective when we were growing our young daughter. But she talked about the school, which I never knew, that this is the kind of education they are given. So do you think that kind of thing still happening in India or in any school, in any form or any shape?
Prabhuji, thank you for saying me, daughter. Actually, whenever I talk to Avinash Krishna Prabhuji, I always feel like I'm talking to my father. Every time I talk to Amrish Prabhuji, I always feel like I'm talking to someone who can console me very well.
Yeah, you're lucky.
So, actually, I belong to a girls' school, so I've never been in contact with a co-ed education. And then my junior college was also a girl college. It was women college, so I have always been. And then the teachers were also women, so there was no contact with any co-ed or any other person apart from a female educating and the person receiving education. So, but yeah, our school was also providing some defense camps was there, and there was NCC. I was a part of NCC, and but there are many schools which I know who don't provide this kind of defense programs. And but my the most important point is the primary educator. Who is our primary educator? Our parents. I always look my primary educator as my parent. So this open conversation and what I said, compassion was so important, Prabhuji, that and my parent, I was extremely by the mercy of Krishna. So blessed with the open-hearted and compassionate parent. That even if I was a child, I had some things and some activity which I didn't understood as a child. They were very frank to made me understood all this thing, because what happens is we had a respectful eye in front of the educators as a teacher, but we feel free when we have a conversation with our parents. So parents have the first responsibility, and then if we have a educator very compassionful, then we feel that um, okay, I can speak in front of them also. So as an educator also, I feel that a person who is teaching should have compassion, should give a vent, and then the person will going to open up. As far as a person is fearful, like I was not a child who was very rebellious. I was a very naive child, I was silent child, and my mother always knew that. And so, and the educator was very good when my primary education happened. It was a very sweet teachers were there. Then finally I grew up, and then you have to deal in a practical world. You go, not never have the taste of sweet every time. But yeah, I feel that as far as a child is concerned, there should be a win. So, my school life. So I got educated from J.N. Tata Parsi Girls High School, which is there in Nagpur. So it was a Parsi atmosphere, all strict Parsi teachers, but sweet and kind heart. Thank you. So, Prabhuji, is it correct?
Yes, Kanchan, Suchi Mataji, that's correct. Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I answer now? Okay. My scenario is quite, you can say, opposite as Suchi Mataji has told. So basically, I was not in a very prestigious school. I was in a government school initially. So there, when I vividly remember, when I was in, I guess, 4th or 5th standard, we had this one program where all the girls of every section were to be, they said to stop, and all guys, like all male, they were sent to the classrooms, and there we taught, like they taught us about the menstrual cycle. They told us how to deal with that, and then they told us about good and bad touch, as Amrish Prabhuji has said. So it started right there. And of course, after that, I was in high school. There, they have not taught us anything. And then I went to girls' college. I was in LED College, Seminary Hills. So there, as it was a girls' college, we were surrounded by girls. However, our teachers were so merciful that they told us about many things. About, actually, LED College is quite famous. I mean, for the beautiful girls. So we had right after our, I don't know, is it a right platform to say or not? But once after you will exit from the girls' college, you will see a lot of lines of engineering students standing there. And just opposite to our girls' college, there was a veterinary college. There is still a veterinary college. So a lot of, I mean, eve teasing was very common, Prabhuji. I'm sorry to say. I mean, somebody used to see us in a inappropriate way, and there was only one like housekeeper. You can say the gatekeeper, one security man. So we just used to ignore, and we used to move ahead. That is all. Actually, they told us everything, but practical approach we never knew. So we just used to ignore it, and sometimes they used to chase us. I was like I was scared to that one moment. One guy chased me, literally half of the way till my home. So I, I used to hide. I used to, let him pass by near me, and I used to let him go. Like I literally used to allow him to cross the signal. I pretend that I'm going straight. However, then I used to give indicator, and then I used to take U-turn, and I used to change my way. So that is how I dealt with it. And again, as Suchi Mataji said that she was very frank with her parents, I would say like sometimes there are not as such. It's a bitter side, not a bitter side. Sometimes you cannot be open to your parents because you don't share that much. Just say comfort, or you don't have that rapport with your parents. So obviously, the program such as we can, I feel like it's a blessing, and grateful for that. That's all I can tell. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the education we had today. I literally relived those days, and thank you so much, Prabhuji. I cannot thank you enough. You are such a blessing. Thank you.
Prabhuji, may I say something?
Yes, please.
Actually, what Kanchan Mataji told us now, so it was quite relevant because when we were also coming out of our school, we saw many girls going with many people around, and many line of boys standing. And that was one part which, as I was a child, I was never because. What Shita Prabhuji told us, that culture, that we had never thought of things like that, but we come to know such type of activities going on around us, and they were also educating from that same school also only, but they were doing such type of things. But and and one more thing that Kanchan Mataji pointed out, as she was not quite frank with the parents, and so that was my point, that if that lacks, uh, this is the first key. I feel that this should be the first key. A parent should be so a, a strict and a disciplined parent is required. As my parents always told me that values are must and culture is must, but they give me the vent to express myself thoroughly, and so I can say this thing very with a sense of gratitude in my heart today, that my parents give me. So every child, every buddy, I, not girl, not boy, and any person should feel that gratitude in their heart someday, that my parents are so kind and of course strict. When I did something wrong, they told me, that they scolded me. So that constructive criticism is so must, but should have that compassion with it, should give that vent, so that a child can grow and explore himself and herself thoroughly. Sorry, Prabhuji, I say today.
Very nice. Very nice. The topic is such, very nice.
Yes. Actually, the topic is such that it inclined me to say that this
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Hare Krishna. Well, Hare Krishna. Anyone want to say anything, please? Feel free. 10 more seconds.
आई वांट टू से कंचन माता जी, अभी कल मेरा उनसे बात हुआ था, तो उन्होंने बताया कि उन्हें टेंपल जाना बहुत पसंद था, लेकिन उनका टेंपल का प्रोग्राम जो था वो अब 11 से 2 हो गया है इंडियन टाइम के हिसाब से, तो वो ये छोड़ के हरे कृष्णा वीकेंड क्लास अटेंड कर रहे हैं। मुझे इतना तो मैंने उनसे पूछा, तो मुझे नहीं पता कि मैंने उनसे बस इतना नॉर्मल पूछा कि मतलब मैंने उनसे बस 1-2 क्वेश्चन पूछे थे, और मैंने उन्हें बताया था कि आप फिलोसॉफी अगर आपको जानना है तो प्लीज आप क्लास में आना, बट मुझे नहीं पता था वो इंटरेक्टिव है। तो कल उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि शीज, और उनके जो कजन्स हैं, उनके साथ कुछ कजन्स हैं, तो वो टोटली माता जी पे डिपेंड है, बट वो भी नहीं जा रहे क्योंकि कंचन माता जी नहीं जा रहे। सो इट्स वेरी नाइस टू लाइक दिस हियर फ्रॉम कंचन माता जी।
Thank you very much, Mukunda. It's all because of you and Avinash Krishna Prabhu. And hopefully Kanchan and their cousins, and even Suchi said she also, they feel some value. They're getting some value out of this, and hopefully, studying of the scriptures will benefit everyone, including us. So very nice for your time. Thank you for your time to everyone. Hare Krishna. So as we conclude today's discussion, it is the point that we raise again and again. Even if people are following us even now, still they're in YouTube. It's an important point, discussion there. So if they want to write something, please feel free to write. We will respond later on. And you can write a comment if you want to. Please feel free. So it is many times, the conclusion is this, that many times we forget what is happiness, and we chase for things which we think are happy, places where, but what happiness is more tangible. It is coming out of love and affection. It is coming out of what we have seen, what we are experiencing, and those are very important in our sadhana also. Otherwise, we'll be starting from a very bad position, unfortunately. So if you have it, then we should be thankful to Krishna and use it for Krishna's service and spread Krishna's love. Chant Hare Krishna and make everybody chant Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So today now we are going to sing Hare Krishna and the prayers by Navina. Oh, Navina's covered her hair. Oh my God, you guys have become big. Oh, Shubhadra also. Hare Krishna. Who taught you all these things? I never asked you to force it. Do these things. Don't blame me. Do you want to say all Amrish Prabhu is very strict. He makes all girls cover their hair. But that is, I'm not saying anything. They are doing on their own. Is it not so? Good. But women should cover their hair. Amongst all the programs, all the devotees, they know if any woman covers her hair in the temple, it is a Hare Krishna weekend devotees or wherever they go. And we have not asked anyone to cover their hair, be it Indians or non-Indians. They just do it on their own. This is culture. So if you do not believe me when I say that if you study Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavatam, you learn culture, then this is it. This is culture. We're not saying people are following it. Look, young girls are doing it, So nice, my young mothers. You suddenly become big now, man. You become older now. You don't look young anymore. Hare Krishna. Okay. Very nice, Navina. Your turn now. I'll start. 1, 2, 3.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
And today for you we will sing.
If our room is clean,
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
And if we are dirty,
And if we are dirty,
we're not happy.
we're not happy.
Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted mind,
Because wasted time.
because wasted time
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
means a wasted mind.
So best use your time
So best use your time
when you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime,
And your whole life
and your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone,
If your wealth is gone,
then there's nothing wrong.
then there is nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
But if your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different song.
But if your character dies,
But if your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior,
Only saintly behavior
that's humanity thrive.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna.
We must always remember Krishna.
And never forget him too.
And never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
And here is the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
Let's learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely.
So listen very closely.
And make your thinking sharp.
And make your thinking sharp. Let's learn.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
If something's due tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
And whatever's due today,
And what is due today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy
If your friends might be lazy
or doing bad things.
or doing bad things,
But if you think again,
but you think again,
don't follow them,
don't follow them,
and you will win then.
and you will win them.
Whatever work we given,
Whatever work we given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live, to work and to play. If you learn to live this way, we'll see Krishna every day.
This is how to work and to play. If you learn to live this way, we'll see Krishna every day.
And when our time is up, we'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with our hearts full of love.
And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We sing and dance with him with our hearts full of love.
To chant Krishna's names, His glory and His fame. It's the only way this world you can ever become saved.
So chant Krishna's names, His glories and His name. It's the only way this world will ever become sane.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question
And find this greatest clue.
and find this greatest clue.
You can only remember Krishna
You can only remember Krishna
if Krishna remembers you.
if Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
Jai Sarune Shila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev Ki Jai. Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Chandra Premanande
Haribol.
Bhutaleshwari Mahavishnu Goswami Namo Vishwamata Krishna Vasta Bhutaleshwari Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Sadesarine. Devotees, we had a very lively discussion today. Krishna willing, next week we will meet at the same place at the same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna, spread Hare Krishna, and be happy and make everyone happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Babaji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Mother. Hare Krishna.